Hi, it's Grandpa from Grammy and Grandpa Read, and I got another Dr. Seuss book. It is Did I Ever Tell You How Lucky You Are? And everybody has a little bit of luck in their life, at least. But most of us are lucky, lucky, lucky. It's a Random House book, and I hope you like it. Here we go. When I was quite young and quite small for my size, I met an old man in the desert of Dries, and he sang me a song I will never forget. At least, well, I haven't forgotten it yet. He sat on a terribly prickly place, but he sang with a sunny, sweet smile on his face. When you think things are bad, when you feel sour and blue, when you start to get mad, you should do what I do. Just tell yourself, ducky, you're really quite lucky. Some people are much more, oh, ever so much more, oh, muchly, much more unlucky than you. Be glad you don't work in the Bungle Bridge that they're building across Boober Bay and Bum Ridge. It's a troublesome world. All the people who are in it are troubled with troubles almost every minute. You ought to be thankful, a whole heaping lot, for the places and people you're lucky you're not. Just suppose, for example, you lived in Gizat and got caught in the traffic on Zeit 88. Oh, Gizate, sorry. Or suppose, just for instance, you live in Gazaire with your bedroom up here and your bathroom up there. That'd be quite the walk. Suppose, just suppose, you were poor Herbie Hart, who has taken his tromdimbulator apart. He never will get it together, I'm sure. He never will know if the gick or the goor fits into the scrux, or the snucks, or the snur. Yes, ducky, you're lucky you're not Herbert Hart, who has taken his tromdimbulator apart. Think they work you too hard? Think of poor Ali Sard. He has to mow grass in his uncle's backyard, and it's quick growing grass, and it grows as he mows it. The faster he mows it, the faster he grows it. And all that his stingy old uncle will pay for his shoving the mower around in that hay is the piffless pay of 2 duklas a day. And Allie can't live on such piffless pay, so he has to paint flagpoles on Sundays in grooves. How lucky you are you don't live in his shoes. And poor Mr. Bix, every morning at 6, poor Mr. Bix has his borfin to fix. It doesn't seem fair, it just doesn't seem right, but his borfin just seems to go schlump every night. It schlumps in a heap, sadly needing repair. Bix figures it's due to the local night air. It takes him all day to unschlump it, and then the night air comes back and it schlumps once again. So don't you feel blue. Don't get down in the dumps. You're lucky you don't have a borfin that schlumps. And while we are at it, consider the schlotz, the crumple-horn, web-footed, green-bearded schlotz, whose tail is entailed with unsolvable knots. If he isn't muchly more worse than you, then I'll eat my umbrella, and that's just what I'll do. And you're lucky indeed you don't ride on a camel. To ride on a camel, you sit on a whammel. A whammel, you know, is a sort of a saddle held on by a button that's known as a faddle. And boy, if your old whammel faddle gets loose, I'm telling you, ducky, you're going you're gone like a goose. And poor Mr. Potter, T-crosser, I-daughter, he has to cross T's and he has to dot I's in an I&T factory out of Van Nuys. Oh, the jobs we work at out west near Hotch. There's a Hotcher bee watcher. His job is to watch, is to keep both eyes on the lazy town bee. A bee that is watched will work harder, you see. Well, he watched and he watched, but in spite of his watch, that bee didn't work any harder, not much. So then somebody said, our old bee watching man just isn't bee watching as hard as he can. He ought to be watched by another Hotcher. The thing that we need is a bee watcher. Well, the bee watcher watched the bee watcher. He didn't watch well, so another Hotcher had to come in as a watcher. And today, all the Hotchers who live in Hotch are watching on watching the watcher who's watching that bee. You're not in Hotch Watcher. You're lucky, you see. And how you formulate and how fortunate you're not Professor DeBreeze, who has spent the past 32 years, if you please, trying to teach Irish ducks how to read Jivanese. Whoa. And think of the poor puffing Pugelhorn players who have to parade down the Pugelhorn stairs every morning to wake up the Prince of Pugelboken. It's awful how often their pugels get broken. And oh, just suppose you were poor Harry Haddow. Try as he will, he can't make any shadow. He thinks that perhaps something's wrong with his giz, and I think that, by golly, there probably is. And the brothers Bazoo, the poor brothers Bazoo, suppose your hair grew like theirs happened to do. You think you're unlucky? You think I'm telling you, ducky? Some people are muchly, oh, ever so muchly more unlucky than you. And suppose that you lived in the forest in France where the average young person just hasn't a chance to escape from the perilous pants-eating plants. But your pants are safe. You're a fortunate guy, and you ought to be shouting, how lucky am I? Ooh, that guy lost his pants. And speaking of plants, and you should be greatly gladish, you're not Farmer's Falkenberg's 17th radish. Do you see why? There's a little worm that's going to go eat it. And you're so lucky you're not Gucky Gown, who lives by himself 99 miles out of town in the ruins of Ronk. Ronk is rather run down. And you're so lucky you're not a left sock, left behind by mistake in the caverns of Croc. Thank goodness for all of the things you are now. Thank goodness you're not something someone forgot and left all alone in some punkerish place like a rusty tin coat hanger hanging in space. That's why I say, ducky, don't grumble, don't stew. Some critters are much, oh, ever so muchly more unlucky than you. Well, you know, you got to sit on a cactus to figure that all out. Remember to like our videos and subscribe to our channel. Have a great day.